At the northern end of the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea in London lies an area known as Notting Hill Gate. Over the last 10 years, this area has received an enormous influx of people, particularly young single people, from all over Britain, and also immigrants from all over the world. Notting Hill Gate is a cultural and racial melting pot and is probably the world's most integrated ghetto. Notting Hill has an undeniable attraction to some who live there, notably the young. For others, though, things are not so enjoyable. The housing conditions are appalling, and some families have been on the waiting list for 19 years. The young have their own problems, not the least of which is the legal one. A little way from the centre of Notting Hill, next to the offices of the underground magazine Oz, is an organisation known as Release. Release is a free legal aid service that was started 2 years ago as a result of the ever-increasing number of drug arrests. There are organisations analogous to Release in most of the major cities in the West. Since its inception in 1967, Release has handled over 1,500 cases, largely for possession of cannabis, but they do not handle drug cases exclusively, and in fact will provide legal aid for anyone who needs it. They have 2 floors of a small house. The top floor is the main office and library. The interface between police and public in Notting Hill is complex. One thing, though, is fairly clear. Relations are not always harmonious. As always, second-class citizens do not have as many rights as first-class ones, and to live in some parts of Notting Hill is to acquire a second-class status instantly, without any reference to age or colour or dress. The situation was not improved by the recent legislation giving the police open powers of stop and search. There has been no racial violence in Notting Hill since the race riots in the late 50s, but recently, after an incident in which a speeding police car crashed, killing a young Jamaican, the area has become a little tense. Police seem to keep the area under constant surveillance, of the kind one usually associates with Soho. But Notting Hill is not a Soho. It is primarily a residential district, and some people anyway resent the continuous patrols, the paddy wagons moving along at 10 miles an hour.
Apart from it, it's a component, it's different. I don't know.
You ask me all the way. Ask you for what? Right. Come, sir. No, you... And he left them and went across the road. Speak to this girl in you, right? You know what I mean?
The man on the wireless, he said the girls are disgusting.
One result of the shocking housing conditions that exist in the rotten end of the Royal Borough is the lack of ordinary amenities for the children of the area. Most of the kids are out all day on the streets by the age of 5, and it is not uncommon to see children even younger out on the main roads. The alternative has been a childhood spent indoors. Built on the rubble of what would be gardens in respectable Kensington, this playground is largely paid for by local residents, people who can ill afford it. Westminster Council contributes £250 per year, and the Borough Youth Committee another £50. But the playground costs over £1,000 to run, and the residents make up the £700 difference. So successful is Shantytown from an educational standpoint that infant schools send classes there during term time as a sort of environmental classroom. Adults are free to come in and teach the children, and one young American, Nick Shumatov, holds art classes which are popular with all the children. Larry Smart is an artist. He's lived in Notting Hill Gate for over 2 years. He's married and has a child. He went to art school for 1 year, but in his own words spent the next 3 years trying to forget what they told him. He lives in a house that used to belong to a Mr. Rackman, and it's like many others in the area, dingy, stinking and rotten. Yet in his flat, he's created a little island, and in the midst of decay manages to live comfortably. It takes him about a month to paint a picture.
Oh, look out,
Here he comes.
Your popular local lippy.
Oh, really? He is.
Happy birthday, sweet 16. Da da da.
The tower of All Saints' Church is visible all over Notting Hill. Attached to this church is a small hall. It was here that London's first underground dances were held, leading eventually to the giant gatherings at the Roundhouse and Dewfirth. Now the wheel has come full circle, and it is here that Quintessence, a local group, practice and play.